Hey everybody, this is Sheets, and what I'd like to do is kind of feed off of a conversation that I was having in Discord with a couple of guys yesterday, and also something I talked about in my video kind of in short form for last week. I want to do a little bit more about this concept for this week. I didn't prepare in advance, and I think that's important. So what I'd like to do is try to get a gauge for what the slate is going to look like with respect to what positions are going to have concentration of good plays, as a result, good ownership, heavy ownership, and which positions are going to be just kind of spread out. I was talking about this in Discord, and what I was saying was that when you're trying to find good low-owned combinations, you want to find out what positions you're going to be able to make some concessions with as far as projection integrity, if you're going to, and in the name of picking up ownership discounts. In other words, I remember the week one, you had basically two running backs that kind of laid over the field with respect to value, and that was Najee Harris and and Chris Carson. Whether they got there or not, it's not relevant. The point is that those were two really, really chalky running backs. So the point is that they were also really, really well projected running backs. So you weren't going to get the leverage that you need, okay, by fading those running backs. I mean, you get the leverage you need, but the chances of it working is very, very slim. So what you really needed to do is go to the receiving games, like the wide receivers and tight ends. And when you looked at the wide receiver and tight ends in week one, you had really, really close decisions between values. There wasn't really any huge standout values, which is good, because what you just basically have to do then is take not exactly the best play, but close enough to the best play that's going to have half the ownership, quote unquote, the best play. And you can compare those with the running backs. You pair those with the running backs, and then you have kind of a decent low-owned lineup. As opposed to week two, where we had a good concentration of decent chalk with respect to those late games with the wide receivers. But the cool thing was that the running back selections, it was really close as far as my value rankings went between, 10 guys. So what you could do for last week, the way the slate worked out last week, was that was a slate where you could just try to get different in running back. And that's what we talked about. We talked about getting some Najee Harris last week and some James Robinson and Cordell Patterson and guys that didn't exactly project to be the greatest, but it was close enough that you could take that ownership discount and, give up a little bit of a projection integrity to do that. And I was commenting in Discord that every slate kind of changes. Every slate is different when it comes to that type of thing. I think I actually misspoke. The one with the Harris and Carson was actually week two. So in week four, I want to get a sense for what the slate's going to look like. So this is like really early projections, but they don't change all that much, I guess. I guess the one you might see some changes with is Ezekiel Elliott, because they projected him before last night's kind of smash game. So it's possible that his projection kind of goes up a little bit. But aside from that, just to get a sense of what's going on here, I'm ranking everybody by value score. But now let me do it by position to get a nice idea of what's going to be happening here. So the first thing I look at is the running backs. And you'll see that, unfortunately, there are two real big, enormous standouts, okay? And that being Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry. So, you're going to want to get one of those at least. If you can get two, that's great. But this is not going to be the time to just insert your low-owned running backs at will here, okay? And that's pretty much all I want to say about that. You look underneath it, you have all these choices, for secondary options, but, you're going to be wanting to choose from one of these two. What you can do is, if you don't want to double pay up for running back, if you want to pay down, then you can play that same game with the cheaper options. Like you have Mike Davis, who is the best option, but only by a very little bit. You could save a little bit of ownership and going to Chris Carson this week, for example. I mean, if this ownership holds, and again, this is kind of really, really early ownership runs as well. So it seems as though, at least at first look, that this is not going to be the slate where you just try to find low on running backs. You're going to probably want to play at least one of Kamara or Henry, just because you're giving up just too much by not doing that. Now, with respect to the I was about to say the hitting, listening to the offense, the receiving core. If I rank these by value score on the right, you're going to see I have KC and Dallas as the top options. And then after that, you're back again to Rams and Vikings. It's interesting, very, very similar to last week, right? Except obviously Dallas wasn't on the main slate. So it makes sense. So you're going to see Kansas City, Dallas, the Rams, and Minnesota kind of stand out. Let's we rank them by value stack. Let's say we rank them just by raw points, just for the hell of it. What would that look like? Same thing. Kansas City, Dallas, Minnesota. If we did it by point per dollar, I know it'd be much different, I would imagine. Actually, it'd be very similar. Dallas, Rams, and now you get to Atlanta, Chicago, that type of thing. So these are the key teams that you're going to want to look at this week. That's going to be Dallas, the Rams, the Chiefs, right? Dallas, Rams, Chiefs, Falcons, and Bears for kind of your value stacks. So what does this mean to the average man? So what it means, again, is that you have to trace the ownership of those receiving ideas, and you're probably going to want to play kind of the low own game over there. Like, for example, like right now, if it stays like this, Kansas City probably will be a little bit too chalky. So I probably want to play either Dallas or the Rams or Minnesota. Or, and this is something you can really start thinking about, is if you want to double pay up for those two chalky running backs like Kamara and Henry, maybe you can get away with those cheap value stacks, that being Atlanta or Chicago. Chicago, you'll notice, by the way, is significantly lower owned than the Atlanta. So I think this could be the thing to do, and the funny thing is this is coming off just the disgustingly terrible performance, Chicago. So that's going to definitely, I would imagine, keep their ownership down. And I haven't even checked to see who these guys are playing. Like, let's do that just for the hell of it. All right, let's pull up NFL and let's pull up the DraftKings lineup, not Thursday, obviously. Where is the Millie Maker? No. Classic, there it is. So in the Millie Maker, let's take a look at who all these teams were playing that we mentioned. Any chance two of them play each other? No. So here's Chicago, we'll get back to that. Dallas, Carolina, New Orleans, Giants. I find it difficult to believe, by the way, that Ezekiel Elliott's not going to be really chalky, considering he's only 6,500 and he just smashed last night. We'll get back to that. Minnesota, I just want to make sure we have no game stack scenario here. No. So the Rams are obviously going to be really popular because they're playing are they the Panthers? Is Arizona the Panthers? Oh my God, what's wrong with me? The Cardinals. Jeez. So the Cardinals are really wicked fast. So the Rams are going to be really, really popular. They can project as such. Where's Kansas City play? Kansas City plays. Where's Kansas City? Are they not on the main slate after all that? No, they play Philadelphia. Okay. So So Philadelphia, it's not particularly, they get to give up 40 to Chicago, to Dallas. So I'm pretty sure that they are going to get ownership, Kansas City, but probably not as much as the Rams. And who are the other teams that I mentioned? mentioned the Rams. I mentioned the Cowboys. Oh, okay, Vikings, Falcons, Bears. Let's go look at that. Vikings play Cleveland. It'll be a little lower owned, but this could be a close game, you know. So this is it's a pretty good environment here. So Minnesota, I like them. They're going to be in play. What about Chicago? So, like, for example, if you did what I said and you did Kamara and Henry, what would this look like just for funsies? If you were real, oh my God, both these guys are questionable. What's it say about Fields? He isn't guaranteed a starting job. All right. What does it say about Dalton? Dalton's week to week. All right, so let's just see what this is. So let's just see that let's say Field starts. And then let's say that you wanted to do this Robinson and Mooney, and then we do a run back with, say, Hawkinson. You're in business, you know. I mean, you gotta get that thing going. And Chicago certainly hasn't looked like they've had it going, but I'll tell you, man, Detroit, they have shown signs of decent defense. Actually, they've shown flashes, but they're still not that good. And I don't know. This could be a nasty way to win $1 million. Let's put it that way. But the point is that you want to pair those chalky running backs with the lower owned receivers. Like the other team that I kind of mentioned was Atlanta. And if you want to play Atlanta, you probably play Ryan. Once again, Mike Davis is going to be somewhat popular. Once again, you might have a chance to play Cordell Patterson, which I don't know why you wouldn't do, by the way. I mean, look at his game log. He gets there every game. 7 targets. I mean, what more do you want from the dude? So you play Ryan, Patterson, and Ridley, for example. Let's say you fade Pitts. Would probably be popular. Run this back with McLaurin, because that's what we always do. I mean, this ain't easy now, but yeah, you're not going to be able to do this. Let's say even if you played the cheapest defense possible, so you played the Jets. I mean, you probably could do it, but this is nasty. But so what? So you play one of these good running backs. So again, this is like a super duper early look, but I think that this is going to be the approach, is to play one of these stud running backs with, let's just say, what would it look like, by the way, if you put like a cheaper guy? And I'm not saying to play Mike Davis, but let's just say, doesn't cost you as much. Can you play those Kansas City guys? And I presume these are just the guys you want to play, right? There's a run back issue, obviously, with Philly. Boy, oh boy, isn't there ever. I think that might keep people off of this, but boy, oh boy, who do you run it back with? It's going to be tough. But even still, it makes it very difficult to play these Kansas City guys, even with Kamara and one cheapo. So I think it's going to be one of those two, maybe Atlanta, maybe Chicago. That would be so gross if I could actually get that to work. Anyway, that's at least my first look at the slate. I don't even know if I'm going to put this up there, but I might. And that's it.